Whoa, what's happening? It is the Emmy award-winning, Emmy-nominated No Limit Soldier, Mac, and I'm off the porch, or I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard.
Now everybody wanna be a tank dog, cause them tank dogs get paid. Don't nobody wanna be a...
All right, so we got the one and only, the legendary Mac jumping off the porch with us for the second time. Welcome back, bro.
Yes, sir. And look, I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah.
So what's happening with you? How you been?
I'm feeling great, man.
That's good.
You know,
That's
summer's
been good.
right around the corner here in Atlanta. It's warming up finally. I'm happy, man.
Oh yes. Look, winter. I can't do winter. I can't do winter.
Yeah, I'm a Floridian. I'm a Florida boy, so.
Yeah.
I never saw snow till I moved up here a few years ago.
Look, we from New Orleans. When we see snow, it's a cataclysmic event when we see snow in New Orleans.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, how'd that bring you back, man? The first interview we did, legendary too, man. I think it's like almost at 500,000 views just on YouTube alone. People loved the stories. People were so happy to see you back home. So it's good to bring you back and kind of update the fans about everything too, man.
Yeah, what year that was? That was like 2021 or 22?
November 2021.
Wow, so I was fresh home.
Yeah, you was home for like 5 months or 6 months
at that time. Yeah, I hadn't been home in 5 months. That was crazy. That was crazy, man. And you know, I appreciate the love. I just was, man, trying to get adjusted at that time. I still was fresh and still in a different state of mind. So, it was good. It's good to be back.
Yeah, so here we are 3+ years later, man. How would you describe this journey these past 3+ years, man?
I've been good. In some ways, I've been having the time of my life, in other ways, I'm just adjusting, I came home to a very different world. I mean, you can imagine things change in 6 months, 3 months. So imagine being away for 21 years, man. It's just things have changed. And so I had to make that adjustment. And in these last 4 years, I've been gradually doing better, so.
Yeah, what's been some of the biggest things that you still finding yourself adjusting to right now today?
At one point it was the technology, but I think I've gotten better with the technology. The technology, as far as that is concerned, social media is something I'm still learning how to navigate, as you would say. So, yeah, that's probably one of those things I need to perfect, as you say.
Yeah, and just reading your comments, I'm sure, I don't know if you read your comments very often, but you're going to see so many artists that are big today showing you so much love, talk about how you influence them and everything. How does that make you feel when you see those type of comments? Huh?
Well, I think though that's great, because that's what we do it for. We do it for the purpose of receiving that gratification, knowing that we did a good job, we did good work. So I love that. And as far as comments is concerned, I read a lot of comments. I mean, every now and then, I just go down rabbit holes and read comments on all type of different posts. That's kind of like my guilty pleasure. And sometimes I see some real inspirational comments, and other times I see some stuff I'll be like, is they serious? Are they serious? That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't see too many hate comments on your page, which is...
Oh, on me?
Yeah, about you. Like, this is very rare for social media, because on social media, you're going to get the online haters, you're going to get the online trolls, but I don't see that on your page. Maybe I'm missing it, or maybe I just feel like it's not there, though.
You know what, though? Man, that might be what's holding my following back. America, I need more haters. We need you guys to just hate. Got that? All right. But so I think it's the energy we give off. I try, well, I ain't gonna say try. I just don't give off that energy. Even when I disagree with people in comments, I disagree in a way to offer them a different perspective. Yeah. I don't name call. Some people, they get to a point where they don't really know how to respond to something, and they're like, well, you're a dipshit, or you're an asshole, or you know what I'm saying? Did I just say dipshit? That's some real white shit. Just all of these insults they sling at each other. I'm just like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I just try to offer a different perspective, and we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, and just leave it at that, man.
Leave it at that.
Yeah, because I can't imagine you blocking someone for hating on you.
No, I ain't never blocked anyone. That was bad grammar. I have never blocked anyone. That's what I would say. So Listen, I'm a freedom of speech advocate. So I'm okay with people having their grievances, even with me. I'm okay with people having their differences of opinion. So I won't block you unless you talk some shit about somebody I love. If you talking about me, I don't care. I got thick skin. You say I can curse, right?
Absolutely.
Motherfucker, I did 20 years in prison, 21 years in prison, so I don't give a damn what you say about me. I mean, I done seen some shit, so I'm not even worrying about what you can possibly say about me. But when you go to talking about people that I love, then I have an issue with that.
No, absolutely. And that comes with being a man as a protector and a provider too, man. It's like, you ain't gonna let that shit slide.
Nah. And I'm not gonna go back and forth with you on social media. You know, I was raised under a different set of rules.
Yeah.
But I will say that as far as me, I don't care what you say about me. Hell, you know.
Yeah, and you're out here in Atlanta. You came out here for a show. You and Fiend, you guys have been kind of, doing some spot shows here and there, man.
Show last night was, it was amazing. It felt good. This was me and Fiend's first time performing a show together with just us, without everybody else. We called it the Tank Dog Takeover. It will be coming to a theater near you. And it just felt good because I met Fiend when I was about 11 years old. Me and him both had dreams of being artists, rapping, and I watched his career, he watched mine, and it's just good to have known somebody that long and to see where we are as grown men and still doing what we love to do. So I think that's what music is all about. That's what following your dream is all about, whether it's music or anything.
Yeah, and just kind of talk about that relationship that you guys had. Like you said, since you're 11 years old, I know he was visiting you while you were locked up. He was one of your biggest supporters out here too at the time, man. So like, what's that relationship like today, man?
It's good, same way. I mean, me and Rick talk like we talked when we were teenagers. It's the same thing, you know what I mean? It's always been a mutual respect for each other. I don't think me and Fiend ever had like a serious falling out. I mean, we've disagreed, of course. You're gonna disagree with the people you love, but we've never had a serious falling out. It's just, we've always been fans of each other and just pretty much mutual friends.
Yeah. And now you guys are calling this the Tank Dogs Tour. So I gotta ask you about the infamous
America. I'm about to walk out this interview.
The Tank Dog album that never was or was, maybe it was recorded. Even Fiend said there are some files, but he doesn't know where those files are at, man. Can you provide some insight about this long lost, very anticipated album that never came to be?
I think Snoop Dogg buried those ADAT tapes somewhere in an Illuminati pyramid under California.
That's where they're at. That's your theory.
America, that's what the Tank Dogs album is. Snoop Dogg made a pact with the Illuminati to never reveal the secret of the Tank Dog album.
So was the album actually completed? Like, how many songs did you guys actually record and say, all right, this is for the Tank Dogs album?
America, I can't answer that question.
So what came first, the Tank Dogs album concept or the actual Tank Dogs song that was on your album?
America, he wants me to walk off and out of this interview on my mama. But nah, the Tank Dog album exists. Where it is, who has it, I don't know. And if I did know, I couldn't be able to say.
Could you imagine the response it would get if it did come out today?
That sounds like a loaded question. I think if we released that album today, and that's just saying hypothetically if the album existed, if we released it today, I think people would love it. I think people would love it. It was great to be a part. Wait, I was saying too much. America, you didn't hear nothing I just said. Scratch that and delete that from your memory.
All right, we'll move on from that one, man. Talk about these live performances, because I know you've been performing with a live band at a lot of your shows too, man.
Yeah. So the performing with a live band is something I've always wanted to do. I was a big fan of the Roots. When the Roots first came out, I thought that was like the flyest shit ever. Do You Want More was one of my favorite albums. I used to love to hear that, I shall proceed, you know what I mean? And just knowing that guys can take hip hop and put it in a live form, because if I'm not mistaken, they were like the first band that I ever saw playing hip hop. And I always wanted to do it. So when I was in prison, I decided, you know what? I'm growing up. I'm not a kid anymore. Grown-ups like to hear live music, you know what I mean? So I wanted to be a part of that. And I started teaching myself how to play different instruments.
Yeah.
And I always knew from that time on that when I got out of prison, I wanted to perform with a band.
And how many instruments can you play? I've seen you play the guitar, I've seen you play the piano and the drums. Does it go beyond that?
So, in order, my main instrument is the keyboard, any kind of keyboard. Piano, organ, any kind, that's my main instrument, right? I'm the most effective with that. Mm-hmm. I would say secondly would be the bass. I'm very effective playing the bass, guitar, pretty good at it. The drums is third in that line. I can keep a beat. I play in the pocket. I'm not sure all over with some hip hop stuff, I can play it, I can stay in the pocket. The guitar, I can play enough of the guitar to convince someone who don't know how to play the guitar that I know what I'm doing.
Like myself.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the degree of instruments I play.
Okay. Do you want to learn how to play other ones too? Like, is there a bucket list of instruments?
I want to learn how to play the violin because I love the sound of a violin. I love orchestras. I love the sound of a symphony. So I definitely want to learn how to play the violin because I want to incorporate that in my live performance.
Yeah. And I know you take a lot of pride in your performances as well. We see all like the rehearsal footage and everything.
Yeah.
Talk about how much planning and practicing goes into one of your shows.
That's a lot. That is a lot. I'm gonna just be honest with you. It's a lot. It's definitely not for an impatient person because you have to have patience to do a great job, to effectively rehearse and make sure that what you're doing is top tier. So it takes a lot, but I'm all for it because it's what I love to do.
Yeah. And you recently celebrated 25 years of Shell Shocked, the album, man.
Yeah.
Talk about that concert too, man.
So
you had everyone, I feel like, in the building that day.
Yeah, that was a crazy experience. It was so crowded in this place that I literally got dressed for this performance in the shower of the bathroom that was in the dressing room. There were that many people there. And it was crazy. It was crowded, but the energy was electric. I felt at home. The House of Blues was one of my favorite, most frequented places when I was a teenager, late teen, 18, 19 years old. So to be able to share that moment with those people there, that was unmatched. And I had my little brothers playing instruments with me. My band consisted of a friend of mine named Ray Vaughn, shout out to Ray, who was incarcerated with me. We played music together in the prison.
Oh, wow.
So now that he's out, he's a part of my band. My drummer is a guy who actually played for Mary J. Blige, for Lionel Richie, and all of these people. His name is Scooter, so shout out to Scooter. My two siblings, whom were two of the last people I saw before I left the streets, because they were little kids and they were in the house when the police came to arrest me. And when I left, they were like 10 and 8 years old. So it felt good to see them on stage with me. One of them is playing the saxophone, the other one is on the keyboard. And it just, that moment felt real special to me. Yeah. So that was, DJ Rod Smooth was also, someone who was a dear friend of mine, it still is. So he was the DJ for that event. And to celebrate Shell Shocked, which was my, album that introduced me to the world. Yeah. So I thought that was, I couldn't have asked for a better night to celebrate that.
And when you put out that album, did you ever think 25 years later it would be still considered a classic and you'd be able to throw a concert like that in your hometown too?
Yeah. America. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say about that. When I set out to do it, I'm gonna just be frank. I set out to be the best rapper in the world. So from my perspective, I wanted these songs to last forever. I wanted people to know who I was forever. That's what I set out to do. We had a lot of hiccups along the way, but the dream was there. Like I'm unapologetic about that. When I started out, I saw myself being one of the best. I never thought that, I just want to get in this for the love. Yes, I love hip hop, but make no mistake about it. This is a competitive sport. And when I got in it to be the best and to be the biggest selling artist of all times. That's what I set out to do. Mm-hmm. I kind of got sidetracked, railroaded, but that was the dream.
Yeah. And did you anticipate this type of love when you finally did come home after those 21 years? Or did you probably think, man, people might have forgot about me? Or has this love been overwhelming at all? Or?
No, actually, no. I felt that what I left the people was, I felt that I left them something that was sustained time. I felt that I left them timeless music. So I felt that when I got out, I was gonna get back at it.
Yeah.
And that was, and I say that very honestly and humbly, that I felt that I gave them my best. And I think that what's gold and what's solid always sustains. It remains.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of artists, they don't get that type of blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like when they come home, they might be forgotten about. They don't come home to a fan base like you did.
Some people, for whatever reason, some people have made a lot of money, but it's fast food music. And fast food music is what I consider trendy music. Trendy music comes and it goes fast. Dear Mama is still a classic record. When you make songs about love, about loss, about just life, real life experiences, I believe that type of art lasts forever. If you make a song about the latest outfit, the latest car, guess what? They're not gonna be wearing those clothes in about 2-3 years. That car is gonna be played out. They're gonna have something new. That's the shit in about 2 or 3 years. So I just think that when you make music about the things that we go through on a regular basis that every human being can relate to, love, loss, heartbreak, pain, struggle, I think that stuff lasts forever.
Yeah. And I understand Battle Cry. This you called this one of your most honest songs that you had ever made, man.
Yeah, I was depressed. Didn't know it at the time. I didn't know I was depressed until I got to prison and started learning about depression. And I was like, yo, this is what I was feeling, man. Like, I was literally fucking depressed. I had no idea, I just was pouring my soul, pouring my heart into these songs, and unbeknownst to me, this was therapy for me. And this was the way I dealt with my depression. And I believe rather, that it's one of the things we don't talk about a lot in certain neighborhoods. And just plainly put, in the hood, we don't talk about depression, mental health, and all of these type of things. We don't talk about that. And it comes out in different ways. And sometimes it gives us the best works of art. I listened to one of Kendrick Lamar's albums, and I was like, man, this young man is going through something. The lyricism was top tier. The production was awesome. It was high class hip hop. But when you listen carefully, this young man was going through something. And I can just feel when these artists are really going through some stuff.
Yeah, that's the power of making relatable music right there. It's like the listener, you basically bringing the listener into your world and everything too, which is like probably as an artist is what you strive, I think you would want to strive.
That's what we strive for.
Yeah.
And just to be specific, I can tell the young man was dealing with mental health issues. You see what I'm saying? And not just him, just different artists. I can listen to their music and tell this brother is going through something because I know what I was going through.
Yeah.
You know. And then being in prison and seeing some of the stuff that, you know, I haven't really talked a lot on different platforms about the things that I actually saw in prison. And I think part of it is because some things I guess I try to block out of my mind, you know what I mean? But it's there.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to relive those moments of your life, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's completely understandable. Yeah. You and Fiend recently put out a music video for We, which is probably as deep of a No Limit cut as you can get. What made y'all shoot a video for that song out of everything else? And shout out to Mean Green too, man.
Shout out to Fiend for that. Shout out to Mean Green for that being on this project. Spontaneity. He called me, yo, let's get the cameraman over and shoot a video for We. Cool. So my business partner, we called him, yo, we want to shoot this video at your spot. He's like, all right, called the cameraman over there and we just did it. Wasn't no thinking about it.
Really?
Wasn't that deep. We just wanted to do it because it was fun. And it was just something that we felt good about.
Yeah. And did you know your lyrics like off the top, or did you have to go back and play it a couple times, or?
If you look at the video, nope, America, I'm not gonna tell you all the secret. But I did know the lyrics. I didn't know. I hadn't heard that song in a very long time.
Excuse me, because I was gonna say, like, I love that Mean Green album, but I can't remember the last time I listened to it.
Man, listen. I had to, when the guy sent back the edit of the video, I was like, look, edit this part out because my mouth and what the words were saying, it just wasn't lining up. It wasn't lining up. Because America, I can't remember, listen, I'll say this again. No Limit was the first hip hop sweatshop. Y'all hear that, America? It was the first hip hop sweatshop. We were in there making records like an assembly line makes vehicles. We were putting 2 albums out a month. It was crazy, man. We were just in there all day long writing. I can't remember over half of the records I recorded on No Limit. There are songs out there, even now, that I don't know what ever happened to them.
Really?
I remember recording something with Warren G. I never heard it.
Wow.
Don't know where it's at. Don't know whatever happened to it. We was just working that much. You know, people let me hear stuff right now and I'd be like, yo, let me hear that? They're like, that's you. I'm like, damn, I said that. You know, because we was just in the studio so much, man.
Yeah. And didn't P release like an unreleased album from you, or a song or an album with unreleased songs? Like
no, I released one.
Oh, you dropped it?
Yeah,
okay.
I released one. And that was like a very minute, that was just a couple songs. Man, people still let me hear songs that I don't remember recording. So we were recording that much.
So you're saying there's more music out there
There's
without
more.
saying it.
Oh, there's a whole lot more. I mean, make no mistake about it. There is a whole lot more. I mean, we're talking about a record label that released 20-something albums in 1 year. You know, this was insane, man. And
It was unheard of, man.
every album sounded like a compilation because we were all in there putting songs on it, getting stuff together. And even on, I guess you would say, even when we were off, which was never, we still was recording, you know, and we were recording for people outside of No Limit. You know, we was just doing stuff with everybody, and I just, man, I can't remember some of those songs. Somebody actually played a song for me that I was on, was it either Prime Suspects or the Gambino Family's album the other day, and I was just like, man, I don't remember recording it. I hear it, I listen to it, I try to see if I can catch something on it that I'm, all right, so now I remember. Don't remember it.
Yeah, because some of these songs you probably haven't even heard in 25 years probably.
Some of these songs I had never heard after I recorded them.
Really?
Like, I used to be in a zone. I didn't listen to my music on the street. Before I got incarcerated, I didn't listen to my songs.
Oh, wow.
Because it was, for me, like, I had that baby. I gave that to the world. Now I'm working on the next one. I didn't really listen to too much. When I'm recording my albums, I don't listen to other people's music because I don't want anything to influence me. Mm-hmm. Well, no other rappers' music. I may listen to like old soul, funk, R&B, rock, and stuff like that, just to draw inspiration. But when I get in the zone and I'm recording, I don't listen to nobody else.
Yeah. You recently shared a picture on IG of you, Master P, Mia X, and KLC all in the studio together.
Yeah.
Which was mind-blowing for me to see that, man. What was that night like, man?
Oh, so I got a call, and I'm gonna give the rated PG version of the story. So I got a call. I was asked to come to a certain spot, and I came, and we recorded a song that was a tribute to the people who had just lost their lives as the result of a terrorist attack in the French Quarter. And that in itself was insane. You know, just to think that, you know, we never looked at New Orleans as a place where a terrorist would strike. Mm-hmm. You know, New Orleans has always been that place where, I don't know, man, it's like a lot of the crazy stuff that happens in the world, we missed it because we had our own issues. I mean, we got to worry about hurricanes. We've always had a murder rate that was sky high. Mm-hmm. So stuff like that just didn't really happen in New Orleans. You know, I was like, that never happens in New Orleans. But it did. And so P called us together to basically record a song that was a tribute to those people.
Oh, wow.
And you know, when he called and when he told me what it was about, I didn't hesitate to come to the studio and drop my verse on it. And it was dope. KL was there, and it was just good to see him and KL in the studio together. Just to have KL to be a part of that process, it felt like old times.
Yeah, because I think that was the first time we've seen KLC and Master P in the same picture, same room in 20 plus years probably, right?
My first time too. America, my first time too.
So what were the vibes like? Was it all just love in there?
Great, it was great, man. It was back like we were 1998 in the studio, KL at the board, getting it done, you know, and we were all doing our parts, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you heard Mia X rap?
So Mia X was in a group with Manny Fresh back in the 80s called New York Incorporated. Manny and my former DJ WAP, rest in peace, were both in the group, which is Manny's best friend. And I remember them playing something for me with her on it. before I had ever met her. When I met Mia was working at Peach's Record Shop in New Orleans, which is a
Legendary
historic
place.
staple of New Orleans. And so I remember just thinking, yo, this chick can flow. You know what I mean? Like, she really can flow. This ain't no bullshit. She really can rap. And so I've always just had a respect for her pen. Like, Mia is one of the best, not just female artists. She's just one of the best, period.
Oh, yeah.
She has a serious pen, and yeah, she one of the best.
Yeah, she's definitely a pioneer when you think of like down south female rappers. That is for sure.
Who held her own in a game full of men. You know what I mean? In a crew full of men. And I when people ask me what was my favorite album on No Limit, I always say Unladylike. I felt like Beats by the Pound cheated. I felt they gave her all of the best production. Like, her album had the dopest beats, man. I was kind of jealous. Yeah.
And I've come to learn that Mia X, as a person, is probably even a better person than she is a rapper, which is crazy too.
Great, good people. She's one of the sweetest people, most genuine people you ever meet. And she's very frank, very straight up. You know what I mean? It's always refreshing to meet people that are just very straight up.
Yeah. I did when I brought up I also wanted to ask you about, like, was there any other old songs you want to shoot a music video for that you never got around to?
Yeah, I've discussed with a videographer that I deal with about 3 older songs that I definitely want to shoot videos for. I just think that giving it that look would be something great.
Now, are these songs from like Shell Shocked or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, songs from Shell Shocked World War. Yeah, I think both Shell Shocked and World War III, songs from both that I want to do videos for.
Yeah, because we saw Juvenile drop a video for 400 Degrees.
400 Degrees, which is, by the way, my favorite song by Juvenile. Yeah, that is, to me, that song was the epitome of uncut, raw Juvenile. That was him at his best.
No, absolutely, man. And I understand you and Juvenile, like, we're pretty close too, right? And have a good relationship today?
Yeah, me and Juvenile went to high school together. So, you know what I mean? We go back, and you know, that's my dude. So shout out to Juve.
Yeah, because, you know, growing up, me as a kid in Florida, all you heard about was No Limit and Cash Money. Like, they were beefing, they never had songs together. So you would think, like, all the artists hated each other. But now that social media is around, it's like, wait, all these guys are actually friends. America,
you were lied to. We're all from like a little area that's we all, families intertwined. This one's kin to him, that one's kin. I mean, we're too close in proximity to be actual enemies like that. You may have had somewhere in back, you may have had an issue with 2 people, you know what I mean? One here and one there. And from there, it just kind of, I think the legend of it was bigger than the actual confrontation, whatever that was. But as far as the artists, we all know each other. I was with Cash Money before I came to No Limit. Yeah. I literally introduced C Murder to BG. We all knew each other. Manny, who was with Cash Money, produced my first album. You know what I mean? So V90, who was a security on No Limit, used to do security for Baby and them when I was around them. So I mean, it was like we all knew each other, man. It was all families intertwined, all kind of stuff. So yeah.
Was there ever talks of you actually signing the Cash Money before the No Limit deal?
Yeah, it was talks of it, but at the time I was entertaining options from a couple different labels at the time. I was actually signed to a record label when I was hanging with Cash Money at the time. I was signed to another label with me and my homegirl Storm, and I was just weighing my options of or which situation I felt was the best for me, and my decision to go with No Limit was based on the fact that nobody on No Limit sounded like me, and I wanted to stick out like a sore thumb. So that's pretty much why I made that decision.
And there's probably a timeline where you may have been a member of the Hot Boys if you did sign with Cash Money at the time.
Well, I'll say it like this. Baby was interested in forming a group, right? At the time I was around, one of the names that we were throwing around, me and BG, was Uptown Connection. So had I stayed, we would have probably formed a group, but the name of it may have not been Hot Boys.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So everything works kind of perfectly for things to happen. I left, Turk comes in, Juvenile had just came right before I left. Wayne started coming back around because he was in a group with BG before called BG's.
Yep.
So he started coming back around. And Manny and Baby put it, it was Baby, I think, and Manny put that together. And I think what they did was something that we can now say was undeniably legendary.
Yeah. And when you did sign with No Limit, was there ever talks like, all right, you guys can't work with Cash Money artists, or was it just, you knew that without having to be said?
No, it never, I don't remember, I don't recall a time where someone said, hey, you can't do nothing with them. I don't recall nothing like that. What I do think is competition. We're in the same area. They had their crew, we had our crew. And like I mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, America, you always want to be the best. You want to dominate. You know, it's just competition. You know,
Yeah.
they fighting to be number one, we fighting to be number one. And you know, I think that what we did was something that was historic. I think it was something that will never be forgotten. But we cannot, and I will never go without saying that Cash Money has proven to be probably, arguably, the best-selling hip-hop label ever. Ever. Because they outlasted so many. And they are still producing major hit makers. So, you know, that can't be, you can't debate with facts. That's just facts. And what No Limit did was just unprecedented. It was something that I think will never happen again. And it has its place. In that small window of time, we put in so much work that the success, I think, was just a reflection of it.
No, absolutely. And both being from New Orleans, from the same city, is just, it's unreal when you think about it, man.
It's unreal, but it's also, you can't have two number ones in the same spot. It's just, that's not going to happen. One got to give in anything in life. And I just think it was inevitable that, you know, competition was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause we were competing, we in the same area. So, you know, it's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and I feel like there was no direct disses, but there was probably some subliminal disses.
You just want to be number one. I mean, it's you know, it's like, I'm that dude, they not. That's, as you know, it's just how hip hop is. But it was all in friendly competition.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, and I got to congratulate you for winning an Emmy, man.
Man, never thought I'd win an Emmy. Always thought I'd win a Grammy. America, I need that Grammy. But I got the Emmy. That was crazy. And it was, I can't even say that was a dream come true. I'll just say that was one of those pleasant surprises. But it was the result of the work that myself, my wife, and a collective of people who have been working so hard to bring attention to injustice. And so the film was about that. Hip hop, I feel, is on trial. And it's probably the most scrutinized form of art and the only one where they frequently use it to characterize the artist as a true reflection of who they are. And I think that's unfair. But the film, I think, did a great job in telling that story. And as a result, we won an Emmy.
Yeah, you've been a huge advocate for, you know, hip hop being on trial, lyrics being on trial, especially considering you had to go through that yourself. Like,
yeah, I mean, who could be a better advocate than somebody who had to, America, yeah. Someone who had to spend 21 years, man, and when I remember when I was still in, my wife said, "What you want to do when you get out?" And one of the things we discussed was, I wanted to do something to prevent someone else from going through what I went through, right? And so we decided we would fight for legislation to get passed. And in Louisiana, on August 2nd, 2023, it became Louisiana law that songs could no longer be used as a character witness against artists in court. And that was the hard work of a collection of people spearheaded by my wife to get that done. And we did that, so shout out to everybody who played a part in passing the RAP Act in Louisiana. And now we're focused on getting it passed in different states across the nation and hopefully on a federal level.
Yeah.
There's a bill coming up in 2 spots that we're advocating for now. One is in New York, one is in Missouri, and we're hoping that we can get those passed the same way we got the ones in Louisiana. So far, the only 2 states to pass similar legislation to protect artists' rights are Louisiana and California. But I'm a part of a collective called Free Our Art, which is a new nonprofit. Basically, it was formed to pass legislation and advocate for bipartisan legislation to protect the rights of artists, protect free speech. Secondly, we provide support for defendants that find themselves in those cases. Thirdly, fundraising, because guess what? No organization can exist without that money.
Absolutely.
So, and the money is used to get this legislation passed and to help support defendants who find themselves in that predicament. But yeah, so that's what we've been doing, and I'm gonna continue to fight for that because I think it's important. And I think particularly now, because I think freedom of speech there is an effort in our country right now to stifle free speech.
Yeah, and we're seeing other artists go through it right now. Like Young Thug just got off trial and they were playing his lyrics back and forth. Lil Durk, it's probably going to be the same thing with his trial too.
They're gonna do it to Lil Durk. The other little guy, what was his name? One of them, it was one of those alphabets. You know, these young men now have all of
NBA
these.
Youngboy, yeah.
No, not NBA Youngboy. It was YNF Melly or one of these. I can't remember the young name, the young man. But let me say this: I don't know the details of any of these young men's case. I can't speak to their innocence or guilt. But here's what I do know. If song lyrics are being used as evidence, to someone like me, that is a red flag that there is certainly a lack of real evidence. Because if there was actual substantial evidence, you wouldn't need song lyrics. Now, don't get it twisted. The laws that we advocate for, and even the law that we got passed in Louisiana, it does not protect you from self-incrimination. America, if you are dangerous enough to get on a record and detail a crime that you yourself know you committed, and it can be backed up by evidence, and you placed yourself on the scene, you went live and showed yourself with the person that you have done something for, we cannot protect you from self-incrimination. You need to be in prison, man. Something is wrong with you. That is not normal. However, what we want to protect people from is the prosecutor's ability to say, well, because you made these type of songs, you must be this type of person. And that is certainly not true. As we know, hip hop, like most art, is, first of all, art is subjective. Secondly, art by its very definition is not actual, if that makes sense. We use hyperboles, we use similes, we use metaphors, we use, the list goes on and on. We say all kinds of stuff on these songs. These songs allow us to transcend our reality. Art is not reality. Does art sometimes imitate reality? Yes. And does reality sometimes imitate art? Yes. But art by its very definition is not real, as you would say. So I think we set a dangerous precedent when we start allowing a person's art to be used as evidence against them in court. We have these rappers who may say, and I said it on The Daily Show, dude might say, well, I done killed 5 niggas, I done blah, blah, blah. Okay, but on this same song, just a few bars later, he spoke about having a Bentley, he spoke about owning a jet, and we know he doesn't have that, man. Let's just be real here. This young man does not own a jet, he does not own a Bentley. He's sitting here in court with a court-appointed attorney, man. So, I mean, what are we gonna cherry pick what we deem to be autobiographical? We're gonna say, all right, well, he was telling the truth about killing X, Y, and Z, but we know he's lying about, man, America. Shit just don't add up, America.
Yeah. What do you think about what they're doing to BG, to where he had to basically turn over his lyrics?
Oh, we don't even want to talk about that.
Before he could even release a song.
That's insane. I went to court and sat in the court with Doogie. And shout out to Doogie. BG told me, he said, man, this is what I want you to look at. So he showed me the paperwork. And I looked at it, I was like, this is insane, man. This is illegal. Like, you can't, they basically want him, they not only want him to turn in his lyrics before he released them, they want to hear them. They want to basically dictate what he can speak about. And I think that is just absolutely wrong. It's no longer art then, because now I'm not even pulling from my own imagination. I'm allowing you to dictate what I'm going to rap about or what I'm going to sing about, and that's just freaking nuts. That don't even make any sense. So I hope that the people, that's the prosecutors or whomever, I hope they have a change of heart, because that is just crazy to me.
Yeah, I feel like that's unheard of. Like, I've never heard of that
that's
before.
crazy. I mean, you're not telling nobody, I bet you didn't tell Johnny Cash to say, you can't say that on a song. I know they didn't tell him when he said, I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. They didn't say, hey, you can't sing about that. Let's be real here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it targets rap and rap only.
Well, I would say it is the most targeted. I think because there is we just can't, I guess we can't deny the fact that there's an element in society that believes that rappers that their music is a reflection of their reality, right? And I think the real factor in hip hop doesn't make it any better. You know, I think the real factor in hip hop is like, you know, yeah, I'm real. Bro, this is wrestling. We know this is wrestling. You know what I mean? If you ask a wrestler Is it fake? He's not going to tell you it's fake, but we know it is. I mean, that's how he sell it, because it has to have this real factor. But we know, goddamn well, this wrestler didn't just go jump off this jet and beat this dude up in front of his family. Nah, this is all scripted. Same way with hip hop, man. We're all being characters. We're in character. These rappers that are telling you, I got rocks in my socks, I'm on the block, dude. He live in a gated community. His children go to private school. Let's just be honest here, man. But the audience doesn't want to hear that. The audience doesn't want to see that there ain't no wizard behind the curtain. I mean, you know, they don't want to hear. They want to believe in the wizard. They don't want to know that there's a guy with a machine behind the curtain. You can't show them that guy. You just got to show them the wizard. Yeah. So I think it's the same way with hip hop. I think it's the real factor plays a part in people's perception of it. I think race definitely plays a part. And I just think that not only race, I think there is an element of age-wise, a lot of times it's older people on these jewelries who look at rap as, that's not real art. So if it's not real art, it has to be real, because they don't see it as artistic expression. They don't think that a lot of younger people from those communities have imaginations. You know what I mean? Nah, this is what they going through. This is real. Newsflash, America. Not everybody in the hood is running around shooting each other. Not everybody sells drugs. Even though on these records, we would make you think that it's nothing but pain. It's not. We fall in love in the hood. You know, some of us come from some good families, you know what I mean? But we give the audience what they want. The audience likes drama, man. They like the drama. It's soap opera. You know what I mean? It's no different. Reality TV. Yep. Shit ain't real. I mean, let's just be honest here. There's reality TV. How can I give you reality if there's a camera there, if I know the camera there? It's not real if I know the camera there, because I'm going to give you what I think is going to sell this performance. Simple.
And now you're nominated for a potential second Emmy this year, too.
Just found out today.
Today?
Yeah. That's for a documentary on Paramount Plus called As We Speak. Similar, talking about free speech and how it's used against artists. And I think it can't be said enough, because there is a push to bring that to America's attention. Because right now, particularly in this time, we need to be reminded that freedom of speech is the First Amendment for a reason.
When do you find out if you win? When is the Emmys? Is it this summer or?
This summer, we'll find out if we won. And I'm gonna say it now. America, we won. I want him to remember this clip, so when the summer come, I want him to play it again. We won.
That'd be major. 2 Emmys? Gotta get you that Grammy.
Now I gotta get that Grammy.
You gotta get
Killer
you that
Mike
Grammy.
did it at 47. So look, when Killer Mike did it, he inspired me. I went
There you go.
to doing them Birdman hands. I was like, I gotta get to work.
So is there new music on the way? Have you been
Of
cooking
course.
up? You stashing?
Yeah, of course. The new album is called S.O.S. I think we
Okay.
need an S.O.S. in hip hop. Should be released tentatively in about a month.
Oh, really?
I'm
Real
gonna
soon?
give it. Well, a single will be released in a month.
Okay.
The project should follow shortly after. We've been working on it 4 months. I'm just a person who like to take my time with the art, because it's something that's special to me. It's something I don't take lightly. I know we're in an age where everybody is making records every 3-4 months, making a lot of content. They say content is king. I get it. But hip hop for me is just not content. You know what I mean? This is my baby. This is something I've loved since a kid. So when I cook it, I slow cook it. You know, I let it roast. I put that season in it. I let it marinate. You know, I do all of that because I want it to last forever. When you hear it, I want it to be something that you know is going to be around forever.
Yeah. And what type of vibes have you been cooking up? Are you like incorporating some live music into it and everything too?
Of course, it's gonna always, live instrumentation is definitely gonna always be incorporated in what I do because I love instruments. I love not only the sounds of live instruments, I enjoy playing them. It's therapeutic for me.
Yeah. What's some advice you would share to the youth coming up right now, Mac?
In which way?
Anywhere.
So not about anything in particular?
Nothing in particular. Nope.
I would just, I would tell the youth to enjoy your youth. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up behind the mistakes you make. Accept them as a mistake, learn from them, and push forward. You are gonna have times where it feel uncomfortable. You will sometimes feel like giving up. But just know that giving up is not an option. If you continue, you work your way through that time, whatever it is you're seeking, you will obtain it on the opposite end of it.
Wise words right there, man. Yeah. Anything else you're working on that you want to let the fans know about, Mac?
So, me and Mike Epps working on something that I'll announce soon. Me and my wife is working on something that I would announce soon. Podcast is coming up called Grown Man Biz with Mac and Wiz. It's me and my cousin who I started this hip hop thing with. We started out as kids, and we'll just be offering our perspective on the state of hip hop and current events. Can't wait to get to those things because I think, or I believe rather, we have a lot that we offer to it. So, and I'm ready for people to just be able to experience and share it.
Yeah. Nah, I'm super excited for that, man. Definitely hear your perspective on some of these things. It's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, my perspective sometimes is very raw and uncut. America, I can be a jerk sometimes, in a good way.
All right, you got any shout outs you want to give before we get you out of here, Mac?
Shout out to everybody who supported. Shout out to my family. Shout out to Dirty Glove Bastard. Shout out to Wendy Day is in the house. Shout out to my wife, who is my everything. Yeah. Shout out to ATL.
Everybody wanna be a tank dog nigga, cause them tank dog niggas get paid. Don't nobody want